Greetings to all peoples and kingdoms of Ada, and welcome to Shieldmaiden of Ada. The world that Tolkien created is truly that, a world. From mountains to forest, to deserts to wastelands, it's all there for the asking. Imagine for a moment that you were granted a flying tour across all of Middle-earth, seated on the strong, powerful back of Gwaihir the eagle. What would that be like? What would you see? Fortunate viewer are you, for this Shieldmaiden has procured just such a ride for you. So sit back and let this Shieldmaiden be your guide across the wonderful world of Middle-earth. Your tour of Middle-earth begins in the north. Seated on the back of Gwaihir, you soar over the icy tundra of Fordreth. The cold wind stings your cheeks and whips through your hair. You feel your warm breath melting into thin wisps of frosty air. Below you, you can see a long stretch of the gray mountains, blanketed in snow, curving around to harbor the blank wastes of land. The Northern Waste, it is called, and you understand well how the name came to be. The thin, white, icy ridge of Four Kills Ice Bay looms up in your snow-stunned sight. Gwaihir sweeps lower to afford you a better look at the deep blue waters, plunging down to chilling depth. It is where the mortal king Offerdui perished in his attempts to flee the armies of the Witch King. As Gwaihir catches a breath of wind and climbs higher into the cold, thin air, you see Himrin, one of the only memorials left of the First Ages, where the sons of Fëanor built the fortress. You have only time to catch a glimpse of it before Gwaihir turns and catches an eastern wind to carry you away. The cold drains away into a pulsing throb as you rise above the lonely mountains, where the famed Thorin and his company battled dragons and goblins so long ago. The snow-covered peak reaches for the gray skies, and the sides fall away in all their sheer splendor. They look hard and wet from above, immense and intimidating. Gwaihir swoops downward, and suddenly you are soaring over Dale and Laketown. Laketown. The winding waterways snaking between the framed houses, the shingled rooftops sheltering the wooden walkways, the laughing sound of the townspeople, the high voices of children. You hear the market cries of the fish sellers, the bread sellers, the tinkerers and the tradesmen. The town has been rebuilt after the destruction of the dragon, and now it thrives. You catch a glimpse of a Laketown barge, loaded with barrels straight from the realm of Mirkwood. Gwaihir makes a sharp, banking turn around the barge, and his high cry echoes off the waterways that Laketown is built on. Mirkwood is next. You are soaring west now, over the dark immense forest of the Wood Elves, over Mirkwood. The sense of dark closeness and the tangled mass of moss and oak and earth seems to sweep through the air you breathe. Gwaihir swoops lower. You catch a glimpse of forest floor, winding its way through the woods to the heart of the Wood Elves' realm. You see the palace, dimly, shrouded by branch and shadow. It stabs upward towards the sky with majestic defiance of the decay around it. Thranduil, king of the woodland elves, dwells there, reigning with the cold splendor that his realm demands of him. Here the elves fight a never-ending battle against the evil and the darkness that the Lord of Darkness himself relentlessly strikes them with. For the woods of Mirkwood are long and stretch south for many miles, and at the southernmost end, nestled in the realm of land known as Ravainian, lies the horrible kingdom of Dor-Guldur. There the necromancer lives, sending out his servants across the lands of Ada. There lives the heart of Mirkwood's darkness. There lies Dor-Guldur. Shudder where you sit, crouched low over Gwaihir's warm feathers. Even you can feel the evil and the darkness. Your journey takes you east again, to the lands of Rune. These are wild lands, lands where few people have entered. These are the lands of the Easterlings. There is blood in this land that stems from the very beginning of the world, human, dwarfish, and elvish. There is darkness in this land too, the influence of the Dark Lord and his evil. You can feel the warm breeze wafting to you off the Sea of Rune, bringing with it that tang of the exotic, the strange. The wind-swept plains of Rune, rippling with coarse, brittle grass, fed on by the wild, white keen of Aurora, run in an endless stretch of vibrant green before your eyes. In the distance, you see a Riddett, easterling most likely, outlined against the yellow mountains, rising in all the ragged, snow-spotted splendor. You turn your gaze to the other side, to the east, and see the shimmering surface of the Sea of Ruin. Beyond that you do not know. None do. Perhaps there is nothing beyond ruin. Mortal, the thick, acid taste of waste and black decay lingers in the sharp breath you draw. You feel a shudder pass through Gwaihir, mirroring your own fear. Mortal, the realm of the Dark Lord. Black mountains, black sky, black earth, surrounded by black clouds. All is death. All is dark and evil. The land does not live. You cannot breathe the air. You feel yourself choking under the strangling influence of that darkness and that evil. You lift your eyes and you see a flicker of orange glow, the Tower of Barad-dûr, where he eternally watches. You feel his gaze swivel towards you. You gasp. Your fingers tighten around the base of feathers at Gwaihir's neck. He has seen you. His liquid, piercing, hateful gaze is bent on you. You hear a strange swell of voices, starting from the back of your mind and slowly, surely, dragging yourself and your consciousness forward. The spell is broken, sharply, suddenly. Gwaihir has caught a current of hot air, and mortal is left behind, a black shadow on your memory. The air has suddenly turned wildly exotic. The dry, bitter atmosphere of sand and sun and whirling wind envelopes you as Gwaihir flies over the lands of Harad, Khan, and Umbar. They are alike, these three lands, subjected to the hand of the Dark Lord, inhabited by the mysterious, proud people, fierce warriors who battle the cruel elements of their homeland as often as they strive to battle opposers of their master, the Dark Lord. Dry, barren, whirling lips of sand, shimmering with the last rays of the eternal sun. Sparse vegetation, dotted like green gems across the endless stretches of sand and sky. The scattered cities of Harad rise along the line of the horizon, and soon you are flying over the earthen buildings and cobbled stones that make up the populated areas of Harad. You see flashes of color from the crowded markets. You hear the bray of camels. You smell the thick, pungent incense rising in clouds from the altar of the Haradrians. The worship began in Nimwenhar, still lives on in Harad. You hear the sudden cry of gulls and the roar of the ocean, and you are flying over Umbar. There is still the otherworldly feeling enveloping you, still that knowledge that you are a stranger in a strange land, still that thick taste of salt and sand and sun in the air. You see the strange, square sails of the corsairs making their proud way slowly from the harbor and out into the deep, whirling water of the Bay of Belethus. The dreaded corsairs, the pirates of Arda, enemies of Gondor, man those ships. You watch and listen to their strange foreign tongue as their vessels disappear over the line of horizon, even as you do the same. You are leaving the lands of darkness behind. Gondor is next. Gondor, the last remaining remnants of the glory of men. You find yourself catching your breath in silent awe at the majesty of the white towers, rearing up against the side of the mountains as if they were a very part of it. Its pennons flutter sharply in the sweeping breeze that whips from off the bare plains and the stone at its back. You watch the golden grass below you rush away in rippling waves as Gwaihir sweeps low to the earth, letting you taste rain-heavy air, ripe with life after the sand and the waste of Mordor's realms. He catches another breath of wind and soars higher over the white towers, letting you see the peopled streets below, the stately walk of the century on the walls, the circling levels of stone dotted with black spaces for windows and arches. You are directly above the city now, and you can see the white tree, now nothing more than a bare array of branches. There is still something intensely majestic in its figure, something that makes your whirling mind pause in silent reverence. Gwaihir pauses too for a brief moment. Then he roars back and starts over the plains and the lands of Gondor. You pass the homes of Gondor's people. You soar over the fields and the ruins of the once capital city of Osgiliath. The woods of Athelion rise in your view, and soon you are gazing down upon fir, cedar, cypress, ash trees, giant oaks. The rich, pungent smell of growing things, of thyme and sage and juniper, of grasses and flowers, the sea-ripened air shedding its moisture onto the earth and gifting the land with its bounty, the rugged hills and the pathless forest, all complete Gondor in a kind of majestic finale. A different breathlessness greets you now. You are entering the realm of the dead marshes. An air heavy with pungent mist swirls around you. The thick, sickening odor of reeking water, mild and soft, muddied earth, fills your senses. The shimmer of stagnant water stretches before you. Gwaihir's movements are slower, almost sluggish. You blink away the fiery mist, the shimmering heat of rising stench, and the parade of candles lining the wet path. You cannot remember Gondor and its fresh, living air now. All you can see is this mist. All you can taste is this living decay. And the bodies. Suddenly you see the bodies, floating, seemingly, white-faced, eyes closed in a mocking array of peaceful respite. Floating, floating. And you feel yourself floating, too. There is danger in this place, your mind warns. Yet the mist and the candles and the stench denies such warnings. You are floating. You are floating. Gwaihir's wing suddenly takes you away, above the horrors and the nightmare, up into the clear blue sky, leaving behind only a wisp of candle-smartened air. The earth and the sky and the land all come together in a sense of unity in the realm of Rohan. You are entering a land of passion, of independence, of pride in themselves and their heritage. The peoples of Rohan are rugged. They are fighting people. There is none of the royal majesty that surrounds Gondor. Yet, somehow, they are royal and they are majestic in their own way. The golden plains fly away beneath you, and you are spiraling up towards the sheer cliff face where the city of Adventurous is perched. A watchtower, a palace, a testimony of Rohan and its lands and people all in one. The green shaded pennons flutter from before the thatch and wood of the main hall. You see suddenly that there was a woman standing before that main hall, her golden hair flying in waves around her face, her white gown quivering around her proud frame. She is Rohan, you realize, and Rohan is her. Rohan is the land, and Rohan is the people. Gwaihir swoops away. Once again you are flying over golden plains. You clutch at Gwaihir's feathers as below you the wood dips and churns in the hills and the wild landscape of Rohan. Arid Nimwen's, the white mountain, sweeps across the far horizon like a guiding mist. You are leaving the lands of Rohan, entering the realms of green, the realms of dragons and dwarves and hobbits. This Shire, you find yourself smiling long before you are sailing over the whirling green hills, the bubbling streams, the cozy tunnel-like homes tucked in the sides of those green knolls. You see the bright patchwork of flower beds, the colorful array of vegetables and herbs tended to by curly-headed hobbit lasses, the high, childlike laugh of hobbit children at play, the swirl of pipe smoke as the other hobbits gather to discuss news of crops or families. The Shire was such a wonderland, such a place of joy and peace after the intense darkness and void of such places as Mordor, and the vivid pride and rugged livelihood of such realms as Rohan. There was such innocence here, such simplicity. You find yourself laughing along with the children, leaning down from your porch to trail your fingers in the shimmering lake, along which hobbits are seated in sun-warmed relaxation, fishing lines bobbing across the surface, begging Gwaihir to swoop low enough so you might pick one of the bright, vivid blooms lining your path. The sun warms your own back and pours down over the lush grass and the winding path and the gardens and the flowers. You feel a surge of sorrow as saying goodbye to the Shire as Gwaihir catches an easterly wind. A sense of distant ages reaches you as Gwaihir enters the once royal realms of men. Honor was no longer a kingdom, but the memory of its existence has not faded. You soar over sunken ruins, coated in a frothy green moss, yielding to the swirl and whirl of the hills. There was a heavy mist in the air, a cold, wet mist. The outline of forest rises from the shadows to form dark horizons on your sight. You catch sudden sight of a man, walking alone, clothed in a heavy cloth of woodland colors. A ranger. It is Thorwell, now that the kingdom of the north is no more. A sharp swell of the land drowns you in a sudden darkness and an intense, fearful entry of evil. You have entered the Burrow Downs. Gwaihir's wings take you inaudible upward, away from the clawing flights of mist, away from the chill voices drifting in careless echoes over the landscape. You shudder from your high perch. The arm of mortal has reached long, it seems, and still continues to reach. The air is drowsy and heavy. You wish for a glance of that ranger, the man who strives against such evil as you are now in the midst of. He is nowhere to be seen. You release a breath of relief when at last you leave the dead lands of the Burrow Downs. The misty mountains, proud, majestic, running from the northern waste to Rohan, fill your sight with all the breathtaking splendor. They are almost a place of legend. So many tales have been told of them. So many events have taken place here in the history of Arda. The dwarvish mansions of Moria are here, and although they now are abandoned and empty, shells of the glory once encased within the rock walls, they are still remnants of their former grandeur. Gwaihir flies close to the huge doors, and you are granted a brief glance inside. Endless halls, rearing stone arches, lit by a gray light that seems almost reverent, a remembrance of what has been. With a sudden cry, Gwaihir soars upward, over the stone and the snow, over the mountains to the quiet, powerful realm of another race, the elves, the realm of Lothlorien. The woods are lit by silver tones, the air is whispered about with mystery and a recollection of past ages. The very earth seems soaked in majesty and in elven glory. You are silent as you rise atop Gwaihir over the realm of Lothlorien. The heart of elvendom on earth, you have heard it called, and you are certain that whoever has said those words has spoken true. You catch your breath as you emerge from the woodlands, and Gwaihir circles around the treetop kingdom itself. Such beauty, such elegant majesty, such elvenness. Gwaihir dips lower, and you see figures moving among the winding platforms of their home, clad in white, smiling, talking in their gentle, elven tones. You see suddenly a glade, a single fountain of water in the very midst of it, Galadriel's mirror. A shiver of sheer wonder chills your blood. Lothlorien. No mortal is meant to dwell here. Gwaihir seems to sense your thoughts, and with a cry, turns once again to the east, to the last realms, to the last homely house. There is glory and majesty also in Rivendell, but it is of a different kind. It is of the joyful kind, the welcoming kind, the homely kind. You know you are in Rivendell by the sudden burst of warm color, by the gentle babbling of the stream and the soft wind through the pines. You see the house of Elrond perched atop a sheltered cliff, tucked in among foliage and vegetation. There is a true feeling of safety here. Gwaihir's wings slow to an almost gentle pulsation as he circles around the gardens, the winding pathways, the arches and the soft, mist-shrouded stone that make up the terrain of Rivendell. You see elves here, too, but there is a simpler quality to them, an earthier quality, almost more human, if such a thing were even possible. You long to walk those gardens, and sit beside those waterfalls, and listen forever to the sound of the birds and the whisper of the wind. But Gwaihir is already turning away. You are bound for your last destination. The Grey Havens lie at the very east of Arda, swallowed by the Gulf of Lune, offering a place of refuge and welcome to passerby and those who would take ship. There was a mingled mixture of the sheer majesty of Lothlorien and the gentle welcome of Rivendell. You feel in the salt air that bites your lips and the sea breeze that caresses your cheek that this is a place of memories. There are secrets, there are sorrows, there are joys hidden deep in the waters and the rearing stone of the haven's dwellings. There is a sense of knowledge and a sense of peace. The golden sun seems closer, beckoning you, calling to you. Over the sea, to the lands of beauty and healing, Gwaihir lights on the docks. Your tour of Middle-earth has ended. There are other lands that you have not set eyes on, the forest of Fangorn, the deep recesses of Far Harad, the wilds of Eredor. It would be a wonder if anyone were truly able to cover all of Arda. Even Aragorn, a man more traveled than any of his ways, cannot claim as much. You thank Gwaihir for his kind service. The eagle responds with a proud nod of the head and a cry, and then he wheels and soars up again into the sky. You turn and see that a ship is awaiting you. Kieran the shipwright is standing there, beckoning you onward. Your heart leaps at the sudden realization. Your tour of Middle-earth has ended, but your tour of the world beyond Middle-earth is just beginning. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Middle-earth. A special thanks to one of my subscribers for suggesting this video. I hope that you got a sense and a feel for the incredible richness and variety of each and every land that Tolkien created. As I said in the video, I did not touch on every land. I tried to catch the main ones, but there are plenty of smaller lands and realms that I simply was not able to expound on. If I did, this video might be well over an hour long, and already is quite long enough. Thank you again for joining with me today across the world of Arda. Please like this video, subscribe to Shieldmaiden, and join us again so we can explore more of Middle-earth together. Namaste.